Over and over, it's become the iconic footage. Students running from a school with their hands up. Columbine, Sandy Hook, and now Parkland. School shootings so familiar they go by just one name. Images that look so similar, and yet each time, new families are ripped apart. According to Everytown for Gun Safety, this is the 18th time a gun was fired on school grounds this year.
Ibn Mas'ud said, I said to the Prophet, هل للساعة من علم تعرف به? Does the hour have a knowledge that you can know it by? He said, Na'am, ya Ibn Mas'ud. And Muslims have to know these signs so they recognize them when they see them. And there are many signs. One of the signs, يكون الولد غيظا. Children become filled with rage. And this is how Shaitan is destroying the hearts, by showing them the fitan on these films and on TV over and over again until people just become accustomed to violence. It's a normal thing. They're not shocked by it anymore.
Also, the Prophet mentioned that there will be an increase in killing. The Prophet called it harj, to the extent that the one who is being killed and the one who is killing, they don't even know. The one who's being killed doesn't know why he's being killed. The one who's killing doesn't know why he's doing the killing. I think this is describing the condition of some cities today, where kids are shooting people. The person has no idea why he was shot. In fact, people are being shot merely just to prove themselves or for any type of madness that you can imagine. Not even to mention the massacres of so many people that is taking place due to terrorism, whether it is the terrorism of countries or the terrorism of organizations or individuals. We shouldn't really make a difference. It's all terror. When women and children and innocents get killed, it's terror by the hands of whoever it is. People do not know why they're killing or why they're being killed. To such an extent that it is unimaginable, just as the Prophet Muhammad predicted 1,400 years ago. And also the Prophet said the worst and the most ignorant people will become the leaders. And really, I have to say, if we look at some of the world leaders today, even of some of the superpowers, it seems as if what the Prophet said about the worst and most ignorant people becoming leaders seems to have taken place, exactly as the Prophet Muhammad said.
The U.S. Geological Survey says a 7.2 magnitude earthquake hit southwestern Mexico. The epicenter was a little more than a mile from Pinotepa in the state of Oaxaca. The quake set off an alert system in the country's capital, where people fled buildings. Last September, a 7.1 magnitude quake in the region left 369 people dead.
Earthquakes, tsunamis, hurricanes, typhoons, and all in the same week? How about this? Earthquakes are occurring every single hour all around this planet, yet we hardly notice. What's going on? What about the prophecies and the predictions of the earthquakes? Zalzala. It's known in Islam that in the last days, earthquakes will be so frequent that everybody will experience them all around the globe. Today in California, you would be amazed at how many earthquakes of high magnitudes have struck throughout the Andreas Fault. You'd be surprised too to learn how many earthquakes and the great magnitudes that are happening all the way from the far northern Pacific and the Aleutian Islands near Alaska all the way down to Samoa, the Philippines, and Indonesia. This is not something new. This is something that's been going on for a long time, but it's increasing both in frequency and intensity. We're going to be talking about that and the prophecies, the predictions, and where we are in these days of the quakes. The prophecies that we spoke of earlier have been mentioned over 1,400 years ago, both in the Quran of Islam and the Hadith, or the stories and narrations from the Prophet Muhammad. Peace and blessings be upon him. And we'd like to emphasize that what has been said is coming true to the nth degree. When the Quran warns us about Zalzala, there's a whole chapter in the Quran, and the last portion of the Quran, called the earthquakes. The final earthquakes when they come, and the shaking, and what will happen, and when mankind is spread out across the earth, and when the mountains are falling down and look like carded wool, and then what will happen, and how the earth will give up her information, and what will be known at that time. And then it goes on to tell us how serious will it be on that day when mankind is asking, what is the matter with her? What is going on? And exactly what we're seeing happening today when people look around and they say, what is going on? How did so many earthquakes come? Not one, not two, 6, 10, 15 in the same epicenters within a short period of time. And that's not all. In the hadith or the stories of the Prophet Muhammad, as he was explaining to us what would happen in the last days, it's clear without doubt that this is a proof that he was indeed a prophet of Almighty God, because he tells us that in the last days that the frequency will increase, the intensity will increase, exactly what we're seeing day after day.
Good day, everyone. From New York, we're coming on the air with breaking news from Wall Street. The Dow suffering a big sell-off today. Let's look at the final numbers. Down over 1,100 points, more than 4.5% down. It's the worst single-day plunge in points in history. Keep in mind it's off of a higher market in general. Stocks continuing their slide from Friday. And Taylor, what we have seen sometimes in the past is these things tend to go around the world as the overseas markets open later tonight. Could this swing back and bring about another day like this?
Absolutely, it could, or it could go the other way. But you would expect probably that when Asian markets open in about 4 hours' time, that they would react and reprice, basically sell off themselves. Maybe they then get some buyers who come in and get their footing. But then it will, as you say, go around the world, moving from Asia through the Middle East and then into Europe. I would expect to see those markets sell off at least early in the day on Tuesday, and then maybe some buyers come in.
Also, the Prophet mentioned that there would be the increase in the use of riba, which means usury, interest, credit cards, mortgages, things like that. In fact, to the extent that no one would be able to escape the dust of it. Everybody will be affected by it. And this is without doubt the truth of the world economy today. The whole world economy is affected and controlled by banks and the use of interest money. Even though in Islam it is totally prohibited, even though in Christianity, up until the 16th, 17th century, riba was forbidden in Christendom as well. But yet today, it is something that controls the world economy to the extent that no one can escape it, just as the Prophet Muhammad predicted 1,400 years ago.
The inauguration of Donald Trump 1 year ago today fueled women's marches around the world last year. Well, thousands of women marched across the country and around the globe in 2017 following President Trump's election into office. And this year, women are gathering again to rally and march together.
They came in their thousands. Children, men and women, lots of women.
We are America, and we are here to stay.
This is the upside of the downside. We are the people, we have people power, and we will use it.
We are not here to be debunked. We are here to be respected. We are here to be nasty.
I ask you to support all women and our fight for equality in all things, including the fight to be recognized as individuals who know better for ourselves what is right for our bodies.
Today marks the beginning of our story. The revolution starts here.
The Prophet said, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam, that the last people to come out to Dajjal, all the Antichrist, will be women. The last people to come out to Dajjal or the Antichrist will be women. And a man would have to return to his home and tie down his wife and sister and daughter, to protect and preserve them from Dajjal, the Antichrist, indicating that when Dajjal's mission is close to its climax, something strange is going to sweep the world of women. That they are going to be deceived, utterly deceived. That what would appear to them to be the road to progress, which they will eagerly grasp and embrace, what would appear to them to be a revolution in the world of women, the likes of which mankind never witnessed before, would in fact be Dajjal's deception. I believe you will share with me the view that that prophecy of the blessed Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam is today being unfolded in the modern feminist revolution and its so-called struggle for women's liberation. We say that this is the explanation, this hadith, this is the explanation of a modern Western feminist revolution which is taking the world by storm for the last 100 years and more. We say that Dajjal is the mastermind of the modern Western feminist revolution. That all through history, every civilization has recognized a functional difference between the male and the female. That men have functions in society and women have functions in society. And that they have been biologically constructed and physiologically constructed in order to fulfill their basic functions. Along comes modern Western civilization and says, no, wrong. Everything a man does, a woman must have the freedom to do it. And so, women now assuming the functional role of men in society. And when they do so, they dress like men. Is this happening by accident? She's dressed in a jacket. She's dressed in trousers. And she has a tie. What's going on? Why does she not dress like a woman? Why is she dressed like a man? And then the skirt starts coming up and reaches up to the knee. Oh, you're making progress and you're proud of your new freedom. And then she starts to become even more provocative in her dress. Allah has created her beautiful for men. And as she takes off her clothing, the provocation for men increases. Is this happening by accident? It starts over there, and then like a virus, it spreads to the rest of the world.
Now to that historic Supreme Court decision legalizing same-sex marriage across the land, and it's profound. The 5-4 vote in many ways reflecting the huge societal shift of the last 20 years. The president saying today there are days like this when that slow, steady effort is rewarded with justice that arrives like a thunderbolt. We'll have all the celebrations across the country and also hear from those left disappointed by the decision.
The Prophet predicted same-sex marriage. I mean, that's a sound hadith. He said the end of time will not come until a man marries a man and a woman marries a woman. And we have no evidence in human history that that was ever, we have no evidence that any culture has ever sanctioned same-sex marriage. But he said it will be one of the signs of the end of time. He said you will see nikah al-rajul al-rajul wa nikah al-mar'ati al-mar'a. And nikah here means clearly marriage, because homosexuality existed, so he wasn't talking about homosexuality or musahaqa. He was talking about marriage. So